failing to match is Mr. Know-It-All.
The audio is low back there, Thomas.
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Festa, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Wednesday, August 19th. It's that day of the week, friends. Well, Lue Elizondo is stopping by for a great conversation. Before we jump right into it, I want to say those three magic words, Mike. Oh, there's Lou. How you doing, Lou?
Yeah, we got Lou.
How we doing, guys?
We're doing well.
Good on yourself?
Even better now that you're here.
You know, I always tell people at my age, I'm doing better than I deserve. Any day above ground is usually a good day.
Right. Most definitely.
So forgive me, guys. I'm wearing my glasses again today. As a lot of you may know, certainly you, Mike and Daryl and Thomas, that I'm in the middle of a move across country. And I got to tell you, for anybody who's ever had to move across country, it can be challenging at times. But being a military guy, I've had to do it many times before. But I'll tell you, man, at my age, it's just not as easy as it used to be. So I got a bunch of stuff in my eyes earlier, and so I had to take out my contact lenses. So forgive me, but if
leave the glasses on, you look fine.
No, you look fine,
Look, this face is never going to get any better. So what you see is what you get. So, if I don't look so great with glasses, looking without glasses, isn't going to change anything.
Exactly. Well, it's great to see either way. God, you've been coming on the show for 5 years now. It feels like almost. And it's great.
Thank you. You've been having me for almost 5 years, and it's always been an honor and privilege. And I love engaging your incredible audience. I'm going to turn the volume up just a little bit because I'm wearing these headphones. I'm kind of in this weird echo chamber. I promise at some point here, when we finally settle down, I'll have like a real office again. But right now, everything, the lighting and the sound and everything's kind of off.
Am I coming across better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, I was too far from the mic.
Now I got you guys.
Perfect.
Got you 5x5.
Excellent. Perfect, my friend. So let's jump right into it. You've sold a ranch and made your way back to the DC area to go work on Disclosure full time. Congratulations, my friend.
Well, I don't know if congratulations or maybe a pity party, but nonetheless, here I am. DC it's an incredibly vibrant town. If you've ever had a chance to come here, if anybody in your audience has ever been here, but it's also extremely stressful, right? Like any major metropolitan area, you've got lots of traffic, and with traffic, you got lots of parking issues and a lot of condensed space for people to interact. And, complete opposite of Wyoming. Yeah, where you're going to make friends with deer and elk.
I was about to say that there's a lot less deer on the roads in DC.
No, that's true, but there's a lot more people. So I'm not sure if I'm more worried about the people or the deer.
Absolutely.
Well, the deer and the elk aren't going to try to carjack you. So
no, but some of them can have pretty big horns and they can impale you if you're not careful. So
that's true. You're right.
Exactly. So on to DC, on everything, we're going forward. We're in a historic time. Lou, we've got, what do you call it? President Trump going ahead and giving us finally presidential disclosure is something we've talked about here for the longest time.
Well, you saw today, right, with Avi Loeb coming out as part of the scientific council saying he absolutely supports whistleblower protections and the ability, because right now we can only talk to Arrow, which, as some of you may know, a lot of us already did, and that didn't go very far. And the new Pursue organization, which some of us may already be talking to, seems a little more proactive than the old version of Arrow. With that said, I want to be fair here. I think the new version of Arrow is certainly more proactive and doing a much better job.
Don't they have the same leadership behind the director and stuff?
Well, they do and they don't, and we can get into that certainly. Sure. But now, with Avi coming forward, Dr. Loeb, and saying, "Look, you should also be able to talk to the scientific board." I agree with that. But what that's going to require is them to have security clearances, and so some of those folks depending on citizenship and whatnot, it could be a little more complicated to go from secret to top secret, or certainly SCI or even SAP. So we'll see. But I'm really encouraged that people are now having this conversation, and people in the administration are engaged.
Right. Now you bring up the magic words, national security, my friend. Along those lines, everyone's saying they want to be able to talk freely to the public, and I'm hearing this and saying there's no way in hell that's going to happen. If they have all that stuff that they could possibly know, and they just want to talk freely about everything and get excused, there's a lot of secrets.
No,
in national security
that's obviously not going to happen. And look, the reality is, we can talk about North Korea having nuclear weapons all day long, but what you're not going to do is have a discussion on how nuclear weapons are made. Right. And all the little details of criticality and how you enrich certain products and what it takes to actually make a nuclear bomb. So I totally get it. Very nice message. Thank you. It's good to be here. We have to be cognizant of the fact that, look, you don't want a rogue nation being able to reverse engineer something that could potentially be used against us.
Right. And it's not even just releasing the information on how to do it. It's been described as you can't even give them an inspiration on potentially how to see something that they could take to create was something we might be working on, because they're really pushing hard on, they want to be able to talk about everything, but they're like zeroing in on the legacy program, the reverse engineering and, crash retrieval program.
Well, I mean, let's face it, that's the sexy part, right? That's what everybody wants to learn about, and I can understand that, and I can understand their eagerness. But truth be told, I'm very grateful just to where we are right now. You have NASA coming forward and actually, after decades and decades of denial, actually saying, you know what? There's stuff that we see on the moon. There's stuff that our astronauts are seeing, even though just last year we told the American public that wasn't the case. Turns out that is the case, right? And now we're going to start launching rockets to the moon every month. We're going to make a lunar base on the moon. I wonder why. And it turns out that there's some very interesting things, on the moon and possibly even on Mars that we might discover if we, put some energy into getting there. So I'm very encouraged by it. I think this administration, again, politics aside, people always, when I'm on CNN, they accuse me of being a liberal. When I'm on Fox News, they accuse me of being a conservative. And then, everything in between. The truth is people don't know what my political affiliation is, and they never will, because it's my own personal business. But the reality is this president has done a lot in keeping his promise regarding UAP transparency. And by the way, this Congress is doing bipartisan, by the way. There's a lot of folks out there in Congress that are doing a tremendous job on behalf of the American people. It doesn't matter whether you like their politics or not. You can't deny the fact that they're championing this cause. People like Eric Burleson and Representative Tim Burchett and Representative Luna and Moskowitz and others who are really, and then you have the Senate, right? They tend to be a little more quiet and reserved about it, but there are folks on the Senate side that are equally committed. And so, this is how our government's supposed to work, and the executive branch. And so I'm very encouraged by that. Yeah,
definitely. I would have to say so completely. Now, you mentioned about Mars, I know, and NASA itself. Jared, I believe he's the he's the head of NASA at this point. He came out like 2-3 weeks ago and said, we've got a bunch of things that we've recorded, that we have pictures of, that we've never released to the public, and we're going to start releasing those documents.
And let's not forget what else they said, right? We have now perhaps the most compelling evidence to date that there may be some sort of life form, or was some sort of life form, even if it's microbial, potentially discovered on Mars.
Have you even seen the pictures that have been coming out lately? They've been finding coming through JPL, and you've got one that's a typical saucer shape on that, 45-degree angle. They've got another one that looks like the jellyfish and different stuff, and they're just finding them more and more just popping up in the data feed to show there's something more going on Mars than just, dust devils.
Says familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does.
It does.
Back to the national security bit that you said we could talk a little bit about later. I mean, that's like the root of everything that we get into with disclosure and what could hold some of this stuff back from coming. And like you said, I'm tickled pink that we're getting what we're getting. And yeah, people are saying we're not getting enough, but look how much we've gotten compared to 80 years before this. You could take everything all the presidents
80
had
years,
before.
just 10 years ago. Look where we were. We were in complete denial. The Pentagon pretended like we didn't even have a UFO program, right? That I didn't even exist. I mean, here we are. I mean, this is a great day. This is a great moment for our nation, for our society, for humanity. Here we are, folks. And again, I warned people years ago, disclosure will happen, and it's happening, but don't be surprised if it doesn't happen necessarily exactly the way you anticipated.
Right.
That it should be, because there's a lot of considerations out there. And I get a lot of flack for it all the time. Well, Lou, who are you to say? I'm nobody. I'm just Lue Elizondo. It just so happens that I happen to work a UFO program for our government, and I came out and told the truth about it. Does that make me any type of, special or super guy? No. In fact, frankly, in hindsight, it might have made me stupid for doing it. But the reality is here we are. We're now having a national level conversation. The media is taking this topic very seriously for the first time, and the government is finally admitting the truth about this topic. So I think people should be happy about that. And yes, we need to continue to push and put pressure for more disclosure, more truth, more transparency. But we should also stop for a second and just thank those who have done so much in the past for this topic. People like Chris Mellon, people like Dr. Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis, and the list goes on, and David Grusch and Jay Stratton and Robert Bigelow and George Knapp and George, Jeremy Corbell. The list goes on and on and on of people that have been fighting this fight quietly, in some cases for decades. And, they're alive to see the fruits of their labor. And we're all alive to now have a global conversation about this. We're all part of this conversation. Look, here we are having a podcast where your audience is equally invested in part of this conversation as you and I are. I mean, this is what incredible times we're living in. And I just feel very blessed to be part of it.
Yeah, ditto here as well. I did got a super chat coming in from random YouTube user. I believe that's Michael Sokoloff from the back chat, who's usually around a lot of times. He's saying, for national security, and can Lou give an answer to, if security is number one issue, why not just show us, quote, the goods via what they've seen on the moon or in space? Well,
they are. They're beginning to show you that right now. It's taken a few years, but they are. I mean, if you know where to look, there's some pretty compelling photos out there. I mean, there's some very interesting things from the surface of the moon. These objects that have right angle cuts in them, and there's some really compelling stuff.
I think you call them monolithic, right?
I did. Nature doesn't like to work in right angles, and yet, there's some very compelling photos that are starting to make their way out. And we're also working very hard behind the scenes to try to encourage the administration to release some of the videos that I know exist, and people like Chris Mellon and Dave Grusch, because we were there in the Pentagon and saw these videos and pictures. And that's what we're pushing really, really hard to get released. Now, you're never going to make everybody happy, right? There's always going to be somebody out there and say, well, unless one of these lands on the White House lawn, I don't believe it. Well, I'm pretty convinced that even if it did land on the White House lawn, there's people that still won't believe it. So, you can't make everybody happy.
No, but at least we can get forward traction. At least we've got a momentum that's going forward.
Yeah.
We've got a regular kind of a pace that they're trying to release it, which is, I guess we could call it the golden age of disclosure.
Well, certainly, we've come farther than we have in the history of our nation so far very quickly, but I think there's a lot more to come. But we have to be ready for it too. We got to stop fighting as a community and stop, this weird desire to create and manufacture drama when there's already enough drama in life. You don't have to manufacture it. That's really the problem. And I've talked to people in Congress who've said to me, Lou, it's a very toxic environment. And that's one of the reasons why they don't like to publicly wade into those waters. And I don't blame them. I mean, it's brutal. It's terrible. It is a cesspool every time. I mean, I get texts on a daily basis where people say, I just got this note that someone so-and-so said that you did that, or you were part of this, or, I mean, like crazy, outlandish stuff. I'm like, guys,
we've all been there.
I've got a real job. Believe it or not, I don't spend my time, maniacally rubbing my hands together trying to figure out, who I want to, socially smear.
That's true. That was one of my questions. Damn it.
Yeah, right. Who am I going to socially smear? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't even like social media. I love people in the community, some of them, anyways. But there's some others that I think, probably need to find a hobby.
Yeah, or a girlfriend.
Yeah, or a boyfriend.
Or boyfriend, something. Yeah, a significant other. How about that?
Yeah.
I got one upstairs myself.
That's right.
Another one coming in, Lou. Thank you for your time. Have we ever had any private or public military-style offensive operations against an NHI species, not just shoot-downs?
Yeah, we have to define the word offensive, because for some people, the term offensive is, literally trying to shoot them down kinetically with maybe an AMRAAM missile or something like that, where others might say, well, it's being provocative and trying to lure them in. I was very honest in my discussions when people asked about Project Interloper. This was a project that Jay Stratton and another individual who I'm not going to mention, and a few others back at the Pentagon and the CIA, put together a plan, an actual operational plan through the Joint Staff, a very classified program at the time, to lure out UAP, because we knew what they were interested in. Are those efforts still ongoing? I wouldn't be able to discuss that if those efforts were ongoing due to classification. But we're always trying to learn more about the enemy. Back in the 60s, I'll share something with you.
Right.
And this is certainly not classified anymore. It's all over books and everything. But you might be surprised to know, back in the early days of radar and surface-to-air missiles, we would, and the Russians would do this too. We'd have this cat and mouse where we would go hauling butt, full afterburners towards the Russian border to spook them a little bit, and knowing that as we got a little close, they turn on all their radar, right, and then we could identify where their radar systems were, right, and then we go back home. So we weren't really going to do anything, and the Russians would do that to us, right? And so this was in the early days of radar, when it was pretty easy to track. You would light up the entire sky with a radar signature, and you would do it to learn more about the enemy's capabilities and their locations. This was common practice back in the 50s and the 60s. That type of practice is something that continues with most major nations today. And it's not just a U.S. thing. It's a global thing that nations do.
Yeah, it seems to be. Now, talking about nations and representative. Oh, it's not the Big Low podcast. Let me get rid of that. Hold on. Oh, where is that provided by? That goes away. Okay, Eric Burleson posted today over on X. Our own agencies went back through every past sighting, asked what drew these things in, then we recreated those conditions on purpose at a site, Dugway Proving Grounds, with prior activity. ODNI, CIA, FBI, and military intelligence were all on site. Something showed up.
Surprise!
Yeah. There's a formula to it.
Yes, of course there is. I mean, duh. This is what we've been saying.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and so I'm glad Representative Burleson, said that. There was a time I had to be very careful. I could never say that at some point in the past, but I think things are changing pretty quickly, and I think there's a desire by the administration to have this conversation and bring more people into the fold, right? Bring in academics and theologians and other individuals that you wouldn't typically associate with national security.
That's what you kind of outlined in your five pillars of disclosure several years ago.
That's right. That's right. Look, it wasn't a secret, right? I made it very clear our road to success, and at least certainly the way that we were going to pursue it. And I'm not saying that's the way everybody else should. You're free to do what you want and however you want, but this was the way that we decided we were going to pursue it because we thought we had the best chances of success, and it's worked before for other type of scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, do you have something up your sleeve?
Yeah. I was curious, have you heard or have you been aware that Robert Bigelow has his own podcast that he's doing with George Knapp? And they've had 3 episodes already.
Well, look, George is an amazing human being. George has been literally at the tip of the spear on this topic for a very long time. And there's a lot to George that people don't know. And at some point, it's not my information to share or provide, but I think people would be really surprised to learn just how much George has really done for this topic over the years. And the same with Robert Bigelow. Yeah. Robert Bigelow invested his own money, his own time, his own effort, his own resources, and his own credibility and reputation to pursue this topic. Were we always successful? No, of course not. But no one ever is at first. And so I'm very happy that they're having these conversations.
Yeah, they're very good conversations. We've been covering each of his episodes so far that have come out. Very well done. And very interesting information in there. The last episode, he was talking about the ball and jacks at the ranch. And it was a form of communication that they picked up on.
The trickster approach.
Yeah. I mean, certainly if there's somebody qualified to talk about the ranch would be Robert Bigelow.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And he's talking about it. So, yeah.
Excellent. Good.
What do you think about Dr. Phil getting his toes into this subject lately?
Well, I think it's unavoidable. I think he realizes the writing is on the wall. He's spoken to enough people and realizes that it's not BS. And at some point, other people are going to have to get on the train here sooner rather than later. Otherwise, they're going to be left in the cold. They're going to be left at the station by themselves and, sit there scratching their head.
Yeah. I think it delivers a really great message. He's connecting with an audience that's outside of core ufology. He's talking to your average mom and pop, your usual average day citizen who watches this kind of stuff. And it's really opened up the overall view of what's going on with Disclosure. And he's covered the past, and he's up to the point now of saying, now what's up with this latest release? Why aren't we getting the better data?
Yeah, well, it's a lay perspective, which is understandable, but he is communicating that information to a very sophisticated audience, which is kind of his talent. He knows how to take information that's very complex and distill it down to a consumable level that most people can relate to.
Yeah, because he does a lot of research on this topic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, he's a smart guy, for sure. Who's done really good, too, which I really appreciated, and this is not a plug necessarily, but great gal, is Jillian Michaels. She has her own little podcast, and she's been starting to cover this topic very closely. But who actually really started covering this topic early on in the early days was Sarah Carter. Sarah Carter was a news correspondent, and then later went with Fox News. Girl's been all over the world and in through combat. She's incredible, and she's just been selected recently to be the new U.S. Drug czar here in Washington, D.C. And she championed this cause early on when it was not in vogue, when nobody wanted to touch this. This is before even 60 Minutes or anybody else got involved. And she was like, no, this is an important topic. This is a topic that we need to discuss. She was one of the very first few, and so we have to certainly give credit where credit is due. She's fearless.
Absolutely. Got another. We'll see where this one goes. One coming from Beth K here says, Lue, our bodies with minerals and water mimic Earth's conductivity. Thoughts on the Claude Puneman and UAP might be parts of one massive system.
Well, we are. We're all part of one massive system. I mean, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. We are carbon-based units. It's a signature of life in our cosmos. Now, when I say signature of life, signature of a life, not necessarily all life, but we are carbon-based units, and that is something that is very, very unique to certain life forms. And we live on a planet that is really just a huge hodgepodge or melting pot, if you will, of chemicals and molecules and minerals. And when you put them together in a certain combination, you get us. Right. And then what happens when we die? Well, we go right back to that primordial soup, so to speak. Now, that doesn't necessarily, I mean, that's the physical self, right? So yes, we are all connected to this planet. I mean, one only has to look around and realize we are literally physically connected to this planet through gravity, right? It takes a lot of energy to escape it. But there's another aspect of the human being that we don't often really talk about as it regards this topic, which is human spirituality, which might not necessarily be carbon-based. It might be something far more profound, and perhaps that, it's not Earth that's makes us unique, but it's actually the fact that there's another component to human existence that could be maybe more in common with other things out there, and maybe that is, the part of us that is not necessarily physically grounded to this planet.
Yeah. It brings
as an example, David Grusch recently came out, did an interview, and he was talking openly about the fact that these craft were not only recovered, but there were biologics that were recovered with it. And then he was asked if any of the biologics were alive or dead. And his answer was some of them were alive. And then he was asked, did they communicate? And he said, yes, they did. So we've been in communication, believed telepathically, with a great type alien.
But the key
Have
word
you heard
also
anything about
is,
that?
Mike, is they were detained.
Well, there we go. Detained. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, what was there a question there? I apologize. I didn't understand if there was a question.
The question I had was, have you heard about that account? And if so, or if not, what's your opinion about it? Is something like that possible?
Well, yeah. I mean, I testified we before the American people in Congress under oath that we had recovered biological samples. I didn't specify how big or how small. I didn't specify whether they were animated or not. That's still a very sensitive topic. And also, truth be told, I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not qualified to make really any type of conclusive opinion about medically speaking about biologics, and also the fact that a lot of this occurred before my time. So it's my direct. Do I have knowledge of? Yes, but do I have direct experience in? Not necessarily.
Yeah,
have you seen pictures or photos of such material?
I have seen some very compelling photographs of some very interesting things that would fall into that category of biologics.
Interesting.
Well, on News Nation, Dr. Eric Davis came out yesterday, and he was requesting that the president, just like David Grusch and others have, would release him from his NDAs so that he could speak publicly about what it is that he knows. And he also mentioned that he's aware that there are gray type aliens that we have recovered. And the one that David Grusch was talking about that was telepathically communicating was also gray type. The reason I even mentioned it is because I think it ties into the point you just made about there could be parts of humanity that go beyond being carbon-based or attached just to this earth. If there is consciousness and something beyond ourselves, and these NHI operate on that level, then that would tie into what you're saying.
Well, I don't think there's any avoiding the fact that we are spiritual beings. People always will tell me, oh, we're human beings having a spiritual experience. No, I think it's the opposite. I think we're spiritual beings having a human experience. It's the reason why the vast majority of this planet has some sort of religious affiliation, because there is some sort of ethereal thread that ties us to something much bigger. And I think it's hard. It's like the term love, right? We all know what it feels like. We all can express it, but we have a really hard time trying to describe it. And we all might have a slightly different description of it, and yet it's universal for the most part. I do think, I've experienced my own very interesting aspects of reality back in the early days of my experience with remote viewing and the government's efforts with remote viewing. that's certainly not a physical thing. You're not actually going to a location to collect information, but you can collect information and intelligence on things that aren't even there anymore, right? So we get into a really interesting conversation about what does it mean to be a human being? What does it mean to be alive? What does it mean to be part of this great experiment that we call humanity? And I think most people would agree that there is something more to life than the physical. So let me give you an example here. Let me just kind of cut to the chase. I speak in very simple terms because I'm not a smart guy. The reality is, maybe it's my culture, Latino. My father used to use a lot of examples when he was talking to me that made complicated ideas a little easier to swallow. But let me give you an example here. If you think of a shape, right, the human body as a physical shape, think of a square, just a square that's got boundaries and limitations, right? 4 sides, and got a head and feet and arms and legs. So you're kind of this block, this physical block sitting on the planet. And then you have this other part of the human being called the brain. Right, it's our intellect. Now, what defines Lue Elizondo, if I get into, let's say, another motorcycle accident, God forbid, I hope that doesn't happen, and I lose a leg or I lose an arm, I'm still Lue. I'm still who I am, right? So the physical self doesn't describe me as a person. It's the vessel in which I reside. And then you have my brain, right? So the brain is not my dog.
No, it's my dog. Sorry.
Might have a little bit deeper voice. Then you have the human brain, and that is where we have the cognitive processes where we think about things, right? The term, I think, therefore I am. So our ability to process information, to guide the body, to move the body, to drive the daily functions of the body like respiration and heart rate, right? The ability to drive a car and navigate street corners. That's all part of the brain. But that doesn't necessarily describe Lue Elizondo either, because if I have a traumatic brain injury, like I did on the motorcycle several months ago, I'm still Lue Elizondo. I might have some cognitive decline intellectually, but I'm still Lue. So if it's not my body that defines what I am or who I am, and it's not my brain, then what is it? Is there something more there? It's the same thing that drives a mother to run into oncoming traffic to face certain death to save her child. Right? It's instinctual. It goes against actual personal survival, and yet it overrides everything. There's something else there that defines who we are. So if the human being, the body is a block, you can think of the triangle inside of a square as our brain, right? It's another shape. Then you have this other thing. Maybe it's a circle, or maybe whatever shape you want to give it, that kind of overlaps both the body and the brain, but some of it's outside. Some of it doesn't lie confined and necessarily, like the brain is certainly confined to the body, right? The brain sits inside the body, is physically confined to our body. And yet there's something very, very intimate about a human being that's not intellectual, and it's not physical. Look, I just said I have 5 German Shepherds, and I talk to them like human beings, and we communicate. I mean, we're not discussing astrophysics, but when they're hungry, they let me know. And by the way, it's not just a simple bark, because each bark means something different, right? And they can just look at me and I know, oh, you're not feeling well, or, oh, you want to go play, or, oh, you want a belly rub, right? They're communicating with me very effectively, just like I'm communicating with them. Oh, it's time to eat, guys. Let's go. Right? Hey, let's go for a walk. Let's go play ball. Let's go jump in the pool. Whatever it may be. When I'm communicating to them, they understand. Make no mistake. They understand exactly what I'm saying, and yet there's no real verbal communication. It's just we kind of look at each other and we understand. Oh, I got you. I understand. I'm communicating with a definitively non-human living thing. Right. Now think how profound that is. We take it for granted every day because we have pets, we have cats, we have dogs, we have parrots and fish and everything else. But make no mistake, there is a connection there. It's why we cry. It's why we're sad when a loved one or an animal that we have cherished for so long passes away. It's why animals mourn when their owners pass away. It's why the dogs will sometimes, or cats will lay by their owner's grave, in some cases for years, right? That's spiritual, man. That's not physical. It's not intellectual. It's something far more profound.
Right. But those channels of consciousness that you describe, that humans have, animals have, with those who are living, even some people who are talented with those that have passed, are the same channels that are communicated to us with from this non-human intelligence.
That's my point. This might not be just an earthly thing. This might be, the if you will, the internet of the cosmos, perhaps.
Absolutely. Now, I do have another super chat question here coming from, let's get it, Laura Campbell. Lou, she's our remote viewing targeter. She's been around for a long time. Lou, did you have any say in choosing members of the Pursuit program? Is the executive wing tasked with it?
I mean, I certainly had an ability to make recommendations, but those decisions were not mine. And just like the decisions made by Congress, the decisions made by the executive branch, they're not mine to make. I think people need to understand there are very clear lines and lanes in the road. And if you are speaking on behalf of the government, then you have been given that permission to do so, meaning someone has kind of said, okay, you now are going to go ahead and have the authority to speak on behalf of the U.S. government. Contractors don't have that ability. Only government officials do. And even some government officials don't have that ability, right? It's only very senior, certain individuals have that ability to speak on behalf of the U.S. government. There was a time in my career that I certainly had that authority and I exercised it. But that's not my place now. I'm not in the foxhole. I'm in the back advising, if that makes sense. And it's just that it's advice that comes from years of experience, but there's also a level of respect there. And I recognize that decisions are not mine to be made. All I can do is make recommendations. And as long as they come from a good place in my heart, then I'm satisfied with that.
Absolutely. Now, on last night's show, we had a survey. Who should be talking on our behalf to the NHI? Could be a politician, military, scientist, or religious person. Above and by far, everyone's saying 71% was saying first place scientist, second place at way far behind was at 20% religious. Military and politician are tied at 4%, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I agree with that. And I think we should have some other categories in there too. Maybe have some philanthropists, maybe have some psychologists in there, maybe have, I'd love to see this more representative of a greater pool of individuals.
Yeah. I think we were limited in the survey when we were doing it, so we could only take it to 4, but I get your point.
Gotcha.
Expand out the survey, see what people think.
Yeah.
Awesome. Another one coming in here. Let me get back to where we were just at. Interview guys large. Okay, here we go. Coming from Jay from the Galactic Family Podcast. Amazing Thomas. Question for Lou. What should podcasters, journalists, and researchers demand as evidence before accepting their extraordinary claims and having them on their show?
Well, look, first of all, it's a very thoughtful question. But I don't think people should demand anything, because if you demand, you're going to get the door shut in your face. Anybody who demands anything from me, I'm going to go tell you to pound sand. But I understand what you're saying, as it is incumbent upon a journalist or a purveyor of truth, as they're seeking the truth, to always be very critical and require evidence, right? And so I think you're getting that evidence. Everybody, keep in mind, everybody has an opinion, right? And this is why I typically try to avoid giving my opinion on things, because, they're just an opinion. I think what we need to do is ask people, how did you gain your perspective? Why do you think the way you think, and why do you make the conclusions that you're making? And if they're logical and they're based in facts and reasons, then okay, that's good. If they are, well, I just think, or I just believe, or because it makes me feel this way, that might be valid personally from a personal perspective. but it's a lot harder to, apply that universally to everybody, because we all have different perspectives. We all have different ideas. We all have different beliefs. And we have to be careful. Part of the issue we have here with the UFO community is that there have been people historically that have made a hell of a cottage industry for themselves on this topic and have exploited people, straight up lied to them and exploited them. Right. I'm not saying anybody's names, but that's done a lot of damage. And then even now you have people that say sensational things without any proof or evidence. And then when they're confronted on it, they still don't provide any proof or evidence. And I think that's problematic. If you're going to say something, then you got to show the receipts like I did. When people said, "Oh, you weren't part of ATIP," oh, really? Here's a memo that shows that I was. Oh, by the way, from the Pentagon, or oh, by the way, from Senator Reid. You got to show the receipts. You got to have them. If not, then you got to be prepared for the onslaught that's going to follow.
And hence, when you've talked about in the past about wanting to burn ufology to the ground, this is the kind of thing that you're referencing. Yes.
I love the sense of community. I love the topic of UAPs and UFOs. What I don't like is the constant backbiting and the manufacturing of drama. Because people that just come to this topic for the first time, they don't know the difference between your podcast or somebody else.
Bingo.
And you got some kid out there that's just making false allegations nonsensically, right? And then when they're proven wrong, do they ever come back and apologize? No.
Nope.
They just move on to the next accusation.
And come up with more shit.
That's right, more crap, right? Let's see what more crap I can feed and what people will believe, and for clicks and likes, for attention, and so I can feel good about myself. That's the problem here, because I think pride and ego are the enemy. I think humbleness, humility is really what it's going to take for us to really comprehend this topic. And the more hubris that is injected into the UFO community, the more we're going to delay that realization.
Yeah, absolutely. One last one. We'll get to Daryl's question next. Winger Dude says, not Swinger Dude, but Winger Dude, do you believe that the orbs are going to come up like Bledsoe said when Israel launches the nukes?
Well, I mean, orbs are here already. I don't know what Bledsoe said, what Chris said.
Yeah.
I've been a little bit preoccupied with my move across the country, but orbs is something that I've discussed in the past. They're real. They're here. They are very much part of the UAP topic. They are connected to it, and don't be surprised if we continue to see them.
There's actually a trail, as I would call it, they follow right in front of my house. I've seen them like 4 or 5 times already. Always a bright orange, that darkish orange color kind of a thing. Move about 200 feet in the air at the most, because the trees here are about 100, 150 feet tall. Just silently move, and they go on a regular basis. And it's some kind of life form. There's something going on, and there's something to it. We just don't know what it is just yet.
I mean, indigenous people have been reporting this for millennia, thousands of years. I mean, this is nothing new. People are just now coming to the realization, because they had this idea that, what they thought society was about in reality, and everything has to confine and comport to what I think, reality should be. And then when they're confronted with a different reality, a lot of people will reject that reality, and sometimes even violently.
Absolutely. Daryl.
Well, Lou, I warned you the last time. I had some barbers for you. So
all right, man.
Here we go.
All right.
I believe I have heard 98% of all your interviews, and I don't believe anyone has asked you this question. So I understand if you cannot answer this question on the grounds of national security, existing NDAs, and the like. So if that's the case, no explanation is necessary. Okay. You have used the personal pronouns she and her to describe your work truck. Does she have a name? And if so, what is it? Don't laugh. Don't laugh, Lou. Watching this interview are Betsy, Bessie, Betty, Baby, Babe, Daisy, Ruby, Pearl, Molly, and Winnie. And I can tell you that they are all on the edge of their bench seats. Bessie.
Old Bessie.
Bessie, there we go.
Yep. It's old Bessie.
Awesome.
And I had another one, Doug. He was my snowplow truck. And then my wife has this beautiful parking lot princess that has never seen a day off road. It's this big Ram diesel Cummins engine with the mega cab, and it's all jacked up, and it's obscene. You can't even drive it in DC because it takes up 2 different zip codes. It's just enormous. And you know, she drives that, and I've got this beat up old hunting truck that I drive that I love.
So did you lose the water pump on it when you broke down on the side of the road, or what killed it last time?
Oh man, you know what? So I had another trailer issue again. In this particular case, I had a water pump issue and a trailer issue, and then I also had a water reservoir issue, and then I had a wiper issue. But fortunately, I was able to. She does have very good taste, by the way. Just saw your message. My wife does have very good taste in vehicles. Not such good taste in husbands, but really good taste in vehicles. But yeah, I had all sorts of problems. You know, she's got 210,000 miles on my old hunting truck. It looks like some sort of thing out of Freddy Krueger Nightmare. But she keeps on going, man, and I love her. And, you know, the air conditioning doesn't work, and the power steering, sometimes works, you know, but the 4-wheel drive on that thing, man, it's got that big, you know, 360 block in it. It's the old Magnum engine. It's a 98. It's a beast. It's the old 5.9 Magnum engine, which was, you know, very anemic to begin with. But I did some work on it, and I put some extra horsepower into it. And you know, it's my get out of Dodge, no pun intended, get out of Dodge truck when I have to. But yeah, I'm a incurable gearhead. All my Jeeps have names. They all have personalities and character, and I talk to them when I'm working on them. And even sometimes I might lose my temper occasionally. I might throw out a bad word here and there when I get frustrated. But they fortunately they have a good sense of humor, and they take care of me.
You know, that's in the spirit of our group here. The people that say there's a wasted question, you know,
whoever has a 2004 Chevy that has over 1 million miles, bravo. Because I got to tell you, did you see that come up? Look at that.
Yeah.
And the original transmission, that is unheard of. I have an old Chevy Suburban, the 2001. And she's got about 350,000 miles on her, and she's tired. But you know, I call up my school bus for the dogs because I have 5 German Shepherds. It's got the rear air conditioning, so it's got the cathedral doors that open up in the back. So they just all pile in the back. I ripped out all the seats except for the 2 front seats. And my wife, poor wife, she gets embarrassed as hell by that thing. It's like it looks like Sanford and Son. It's awful, but I love it. It's great, and the dogs all get in there. They, you know, stick their heads out the windows, and you know, we go driving down the road. Looks like the Beverly Hillbillies.
I've got 2 more questions that'll piss off everybody, but go ahead.
Go ahead,
we can
Daryl.
save them for later.
No, go for it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Love
all right.
old Land Rovers, by the way. Another one of your folks has the first car was a 61 Land Rover. Wow.
Since I saw so many people that really love that question, one more car question. So, as a collector of World War II Jeeps, you have no doubt schooled people that WW2 Jeeps were used as stationary power sources on the battlefield via power takeoff, PTO.
That's right.
Systems that drove auxiliary generators and provided power for searchlights, floodlights, shortwave radios, radar equipment, and welding gear.
I have a PTO on one of my Jeeps going up to it's a Vietnam era Jeep, and it has a PTO in the front. A PTO.
Well, here's the question, Lou. Here's the question. Don't try and dodge this. Are you a mere collector, or are you preparing for an alien apocalypse?
Well, I may be preparing for an apocalypse, but it's not an alien apocalypse. You know, society. You know, in a more serious note, the reality is that society is really only held together by a very thin illusion of principles and rules. And I've been in environments before where the fabric of society is no longer there. And at that point, it becomes every person for themselves. And that's a very scary situation to be in, especially if you are a parent with children. Because you have a responsibility to protect them. But no, why I like the old Jeeps, the real reason, Daryl, is because, you know, they have, if you look at what these old Jeeps were, they're really just a thin skin of steel with a little 4-cylinder engine, with a hurricane block, with the old L head initially, and then later on the F head. Basically a glorified lawnmower. And these little things won the war for us. These little tiny vehicles that we first called general purpose vehicles. That's where we get the term Jeep from. And by the way, in World War II, there were actually two forms of the Jeep. They looked exactly the same except for a very minor detail. But one was manufactured by the company we now know as Jeep, right? Kaiser and whatnot, Willys. And the other one was made by Ford, believe it or not, Ford Motor Company. And during the times of war, a lot of people don't know this too, during World War II, there were no civilian cars made during the war because all the material and all the manufacturing was being made towards tanks and planes and boats and Jeeps. And so these Jeeps won the war. These little tiny nothing. And so when I'm driving one of my old Jeeps, the World War II Jeep or the Korean War, the Vietnam Jeep down the road, it's amazing. It's like parting the seas. All these guys with these jacked up, beautiful Wranglers and Rubicons and CJ7s and CJ5s, you can just see it's like parting the waves. They all slow down and they all just kind of get to the side of the road and let the old man pass because they recognize that respect. They see these old war girls and they're like, you did it. Before there were these, automatic locking differentials and disconnecting sway bars and, rock crawling ratios. None of that was there. You literally had a steel tub with an engine and a 30 caliber in the back, and that was it. And good luck.
Right. It's so interesting. So, Thomas, I'll save the last question for the people that want me to be serious.
All right. Sounds good. We got another question coming in from the audience, coming from Aliens in the Cloud podcast. Thanks for being here, Lou. As a podcaster, I want to help prepare people and ourselves for the new reality that comes with disclosure. What advice can you give on how to mentally prepare?
You're doing it right now, brother. You're doing it right now. So whoever wrote that, Aliens in the Cloud podcast, you're doing it. Having this conversation, engaging the public, and allowing them to ask questions. And you know what? Sometimes not having an answer. That's okay. Honesty goes a long way. Sincerity goes a long way. And people see that. The one thing people always tell me is like, when they meet me, they're like, wow, Lou, you are literally exactly like you are on TV. What you see is what you get with me. And I think that's important. And as a podcaster, you have even a bigger responsibility to always be honest with your audience and engage your audience. And if you're not honest with them, then you're not doing your job. And sometimes, honesty is not knowing an answer and asking people, what they think. And I think you're doing it right now. And if you're having a podcast, let me know at some point. Love to be on it.
Awesome. Great reply on that one. Another one coming in here. Does Lou consider water to be a big factor with UFOs and potentially why?
Yeah, 100%. Well, there's two theories, a couple of them. One is that they might have some sort of place underneath the ocean, in the deeper parts of the ocean, where
it's safer there than on the surface.
Oh, absolutely it is. Yeah, especially in some of the deeper parts of the ocean. We know more about the surface of the moon than we do the depths of our own oceans. So there's a lot we don't know, and if you want to find a safe place to hide, that's a great place to do it. There was also a theory for a while that in the Pentagon that maybe water is somehow being used as a fuel. And it gets a little complicated, but the bottom line is that the smaller you go down in matter and mass, the more tightly held energy is confined. So, case in point, if I were to take a glass of water and I separate the molecules of hydrogen and oxygen, right? But it's still H2O, but I separate them from themselves, you get steam. And you can do work with that. There's a lot of energy derived from that, and it's what actually led to the Industrial Revolution. In fact, if you take a glass of water and you turn it into steam, it'll occupy 1,700 times its volume. So that's a 1 times 10 to the third release volumetrically of potential energy. And then if you actually go smaller than the molecule and you actually decide to break up the molecule, via exothermic reaction, that is even more. That's an order of magnitude even greater energy release. That's 1 times 10 to the fourth release, and what we call an exothermic, or think of like gunpowder or dynamite, right? An explosion. And then if you go smaller than that, you get into the atom itself, and you split up not the molecule, but the atom itself, right? That's a 1 × 10⁵ yield that we often express as a kiloton yield worth of energy. And as you go smaller, smaller, you start releasing more and more and more energy. So if you wanted to start with a fuel source, right, and avoid having to break up molecules and then break up, you just wanted to start with breaking up an atom, you would start with the most simplest element on Earth, which is, by the way, the most abundant element in the universe, which is hydrogen. Now, the problem with hydrogen is in the natural state of the universe, it's very diffuse. It's gaseous, right? It's in gas clouds and nebulas. So it might take you a while to mine it. But there's another place that hydrogen exists in a super concentrated form, and it's in a liquid form. Turns out it's water, H2O. And as we know, 70% of the Earth's surface is covered by water. So if you wanted to go ahead and fuel whatever device you need to fuel, water would be a great place to start.
Yeah. They actually have recently, I've seen video recordings of it. They actually have the formation.
By the way, Thomas, forgive me for interrupting, but I just want to make sure your audience knows, everybody who's writing in there, I'm actually seeing. So forgive me if I can't respond to everybody, but I'm looking at every single one of your posts regarding flatbeds and Chevys and Range Rovers. So thank you, guys. I am paying attention. Go ahead, Thomas. Forgive the interruption.
I'm not sure where I was at, but I'll jump to this one then. We were talking about everything in orders of magnitude, bigger or smaller. Something you kind of danced into in the past was maybe they're not from out there, maybe they're from a much smaller chasms that we don't realize, because talking about the ETs themselves, because if you look at like the structure of the brain and how the nerves and everything all come together, and you look at the structure of the universe, it's almost a mirror image of that kind of stuff. Are they coming from way out there, or are they coming from, way down in there?
That's a great question. Well, there's two things that you're bringing up here. One is the notion of a universal blueprint to our existence, which I believe it's very evident, very clear that that's true, right? It's called fractal geometry. And you can look at sacred geometry in the Fibonacci sequence. We see it everywhere. It's in fact, it's not even only physical, it's metaphysical. So if you take and you look at the pattern of the capillaries, or even the alveoli in the human lungs, and you compare that to the pattern of a tree, an oak tree, you will see a very similar pattern structure. And now compare that to the path that water takes. Look from a satellite view and look at a mountain. You'll see all these interesting little ridges that look like fern leaves, right? You'll see that same pattern. Look at lightning. You'll see that same pattern. Look at the human brain, the neurons, the patterns of neurons. You'll see the same pattern. Look at the large Magellanic structures of our cosmos. Look at the supercluster galaxies, superclusters of galaxies in our universe. It's all the same pattern. And then you can look psychologically the way we have relationships, right? When you look at a terrorist network on a link chart, you see that same pattern, right? You see the way we interact with each other socially. It's the same pattern. So when you see those patterns repeated physically and in every other, metaphysically in every other way, you're forced to reconcile the fact that you're looking at something here that is a law or a rule of the greater universe, meaning it's not just a human thing, it's a universe thing. And there are patterns there. Now, going into the conversation about these things either being from out there or, outer space, inner space, or the space in between, all those are possible. If I can digress for just a minute here, this is something I've said before, and then I'm going to shut up and turn it over to Daryl here, because I do have to, I can't stay on all night. when you look at the two limitations that we have, human beings, to understanding and interacting with our reality, there's two things. There is a physical limitation, and I'll get into that in a minute, and then there is a scale limitation. Well, scale limitation, what do you mean by that, Lou? Well, we'll get to that in a second. Here's what I mean. So the physical limitation is that we have 5 fundamental senses by which we judge and we interact with our universe and our environment. And for the most part, if you can't touch it, taste it, hear it, smell it, etc., it doesn't exist to us. We can't see it. And yet, most of the universe lies beyond our ability to perceive. So, for example, human vision. Right? The way we talk to each other, see each other, and look at the clouds and the skies and telescopes, that is the electro-optical region represents only 0.0035% of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Now think about that. Less than 1% of 1% of the entire electromagnetic spectrum we can only perceive, and we call it visible light. Now, most of the universe lies beyond that spectrum. When you look at the cosmos today through a telescope, you see these beautiful stars and maybe a couple planets. Now, look at that same part of the night sky through a radio telescope, or look at it through the infrared telescope or ultraviolet. You'll see a completely different reality around you. You'll see complex structures and nebulas and all sorts of stuff that you can't normally see. And that's where most of reality is, right? We talk about things like dark matter and dark energy, or most of the universe is comprised of this stuff, and yet we can never ever see it, detect it, or even weigh it or observe it. So most of the universe is beyond our ability to directly perceive. Now, and that's a physical limitation. Now you have another, shalom. You also have another limitation, which is a scale. Now, as infinitely large as a universe is, so if you look in any direction, right, at the universe's horizon, it's roughly 14.5 billion light years from one end that we can see in either direction. So that's roughly our universal horizon is probably about 30 billion light years across, roughly. Now, how big is that? Well, let's talk about a light year. A light year is the distance that one photon of light can travel in 1 year's time. So how fast is that? Well, a photon of light can travel at approximately 186,000 miles per second. Or, in other terms, 7.5 times around our own planet in 1 second. Now, think how far that light can go in a week, how far it can go in a year, and now think how far it can go in 25, 30 billion years, right? That's an incomprehensibly huge universe we live in, and we are this infinitesimally small speck somewhere in the middle of it. Now, as crazy as that is to try to comprehend, how many of you out there went to chemistry class in high school where you learn about Avogadro's number, right? 1 times 10 to the negative 26, I think. So 6.82 times 10 to the negative 26, maybe 23 if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, my point being is that if you look at the size of our observable universe and the size of our real universe, which is actually 10 times bigger than our observable universe, it's overwhelmingly huge. In fact, scientists have estimated that there are over 200 sextillion stars just in our observable universe, which only represents 10%.
This
right?
is a shot of our observable universe, and each one of those pixels of light is a galaxy.
Yeah, some of them are actually super clusters of galaxies. So the scientists have said there are more stars in the observable universe than there are grains of sand in all the beaches in all the world together. Right. So that's just a kind of an example for you. Now, if you look at a quark, a subatomic particle, which is inside all of us, right? That is roughly the same order of magnitude that quark is to us as we are to the universe. Meaning inside every single human being, there's an equally vast in scale amount of space. Right. And we as human beings can only interact with 1 or 2 degrees order of magnitude up or down. Otherwise, simply the universe is either too big or too small. We'll never be able to directly interact with it. And yet, as we know, statistically, that's where most of reality actually lies. So when people say things like, well, where are these things from? Are they from outer space or inner space? Or could be all of it. It's an incredibly complex and huge universe that we live in. And we're now beginning to realize with ideas like M theory and interdimensional observations of certain subatomic particles and the way they behave, we're beginning to realize that the Newtonian, even to some degree, the Einstein idea of the model of our reality universe is not so much.
Yeah. Great thought on that. Now, Daryl, you've got a question. Is that where I think I know what the question is? Is it about the pink tutu?
I am a Gemini. I like long walks on the beach and pina coladas.
Daryl, go ahead. You're muted.
Go ahead, Daryl. Yeah, mute button's on.
My bad. So I'm figuring out what it's like to be a hated person in a podcast now. But I'm going to go ahead and give you this anyway. So let me set this up so you don't get too worried. I pick people that are not current military, currently your peers, or politicians. This is a rapid fire question. If an alien force spokesperson came to you and said to select from the following list, those to come with them and learn, experience all the mysteries of the universe, come back and help prepare the human race for disclosure, who would you pick? A simple yes or no would do. Starting off with an easy one. Stephen Greer. Does he get a seat on that ship?
You know
No.
what? No, you know what? Yes.
Ooh.
Because humility, you're never too old to learn humility.
All right. Robert Bigelow.
Absolutely.
Dr. James Lukatsky.
Absolutely.
Bob Lazar.
Sure.
Eric Davis. Dr. Eric Davis.
Absolutely.
Jeffrey Mishlove.
I don't know that individual.
He won Bigelow's contest for consciousness proving.
Yeah, I heard about it. I unfortunately just don't know much about it.
Okay,
So
all right.
forgive me.
We'll pass on that one. UAP Gerb.
Again, maybe for humility's sake.
Yes.
And
Jacques
then,
Vallée.
a polite apology afterwards.
Jacques Vallée.
Speaking
Absolutely.
of Gerb, since you brought it up, Daryl.
Wait, hold on. Just two more.
Go ahead,
Avi
okay.
Loeb,
Absolutely.
Lue Elizondo.
I'd give up my seat for somebody else. Somebody more deserving.
God, that's a perfect answer.
Good answer.
All right, I'll go.
All right. So the
Go
question
ahead.
is, has anybody taken you up on the opportunity to take the polygraph? Where the loser
Yes.
has to come out
No.
and say it in a pink tutu that they
No.
were. No, nobody.
No, and I keep saying I'll do it. Let's go. Let's go. The pink slips, baby. You put your money where your mouth is. Let's go.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Mike, back to
Yeah.
you.
So, guys,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I'm going to have to color a little bit because my wife has work very early in the morning, and
Oh, you've got the little sign from
Okay.
the person off stage that it's time to close down the show.
Actually, I got the tapping on the back of the wall here. Like, dunk, 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 dunk.
It works.
Yeah, she has to
Thomas,
wake up
check your
very
text
early.
message real quick
So,
on your phone.
Who?
You, Thomas.
Me?
Yeah.
check your phone. I think you have
Check
a
your
message from somebody.
From
No,
me.
no time.
Oh, from you.
No, we're good, Mike. We're good on this one.
We're good? Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
So, but anyways, listen, gentlemen, as always, thank you to you for doing what you're doing. And thank you to your amazing audience, even those out there who, don't like me, don't agree with me. That's okay. Thank you for being part of this conversation. It is truly, truly appreciated. The boat is big enough for everybody to fit. No one's more important than anybody else. Certainly I am not.
And we're waiting with bated breath and can't wait to see where you take it.
Well, let's get back on your show again here soon.
Yeah. Sounds like a
Oh,
plan.
we would love that. Yeah.
So,
Same
all
bad
right,
time, same
guys.
bad channel.
Well, Mike and Daryl and Thomas, thank you. And by the way, to your audience out there who have these great questions, especially with the cars, speaking my love language.
Daryl drives a
you.
really nice Ferrari.
And he has a dog named Ferrari. So, yeah.
Daryl, I got to ask, do you have
Sure.
a Ferrari?
Yeah, he
I do.
does.
What, I got to ask, which model? Is it an old 308 or?
It's an F430.
Oh, the 430 is a fantastic
Spider convertible.
I always wanted an F355 so bad. The problem is to change the oil. That when you got a 10,000 mile service, they used to have to pull the entire engine out of the car. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do that. Did you know, by the way, Daryl, you probably know this, that the Maserati actually uses a Ferrari block, but they paint the block blue.
And it's also different. It's not a flat plane crank. It's the opposite. Correct. Yeah, the internals will change, but the 4 Series on the Ferraris I still think are some of the best engineered Ferraris in the history of the company. I mean, I'm partial, but I think the engineering behind them is absolutely incredible. No out of bay service needed for that engine. It's great, and naturally aspirated. It still pumps out great horsepower, and the balance on the high revs, you can't touch it. I mean, is it the fastest car? No, but pound for pound, is it one of the best performing cars? It is. You can't compare it. 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. You're right. It's not the fastest, but I will take Tim's Lamborghini and smoke it. So
I'll tell you, the Porsche though have, again, the knock on the door, but the Porsche, man, they've got some great engineering too. That some of those 911s, if you know how to tweak those engines, they are smoking hot.
Yeah. So I've had one.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lou. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for Jennifer for allowing Lou to come out.
I'll let her know.
So she made it back here with the trucks and everything. You got it out?
We finally made the big move out. I bought let's just say it's a fixer-upper. A lot of fixing, a lot of upping. But I made the mistake a long time ago when I first met my wife. She knew I was very handy, and I was in construction as a kid and electrical and plumbing. So anytime anything needs to be done, I'm usually voluntold to do it. And so, I'm now contemplating having to do a new kitchen and bathrooms, and
Yeah, I just tore down the 6-burner decor range in the kitchen over the weekend because it's been broken for about 8 years and finally it stopped.
So let me tell you,
and I had the part sitting on the freaking counter waiting for me to finally do it. But of course, I fixed one thing, but I broke something else.
Thomas, I bought this house sight unseen. It is a time warp from the late 1970s.
Paneling included?
Dude, Brady Bunch. It is Brady Bunch. It is think of the typical
popcorn ceilings,
harvest gold and avocado green.
Ooh. That's like early 70s. My mom had the avocado green stuff. My aunt had the harvest gold.
It's painful. I mean, look, if you want to open up a museum, circa 1970s, you're perfect because, you got it.
Don't throw away the light fixers. You can sell them on YouTube for big bucks.
Dude, it's insane. So
a DVD to get together with you and your wife for a little movie night, glasses of wine, etc. The Money Pit with Tom Hanks.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. And unfortunately, she married a perfectionist, right? So everything I do has to be like perfect. And I drive myself and her too insane sometimes doing it. But gentlemen, it's been an honor and privilege. Mike,
honestly,
Daryl,
thank you for
Thomas,
being here. Thank you for the audience.
Guys. Thank you. Thank you for an amazing audience and a great experience as always. Let's do this again.
We'll talk again soon. Thanks, Lou. Have a great one.
Take care, guys. God bless.
Take care. Good seeing you again, brother.
Wow. Great conversation with Lou. Now, this is the time that I get to go into the chat and post the link for everyone to come and join the back again.
Yeah.
They've been in their own viewer. I set up the other one for them so they could all hang out together and talk about everything. I told them I would go ahead and open up the back once we're done.
I saw the negative thoughts or comments on those the first two questions I asked. You know what? You hardly ever get to see the other side of Lou. Like, everybody's always pounding him with these serious questions, and I just thought it'd be fun to give him a few that were not so serious.
It was
amazing questions, by the way.
Yeah. It's always good to throw him something that he enjoys, that he likes, that he wants, that, is like, there's no stress talking about.
Right.
Laura is here. Welcome, Laura.
Laura.
I'm wearing my Cuban hat. It's actually from Cuba.
Well, there you go.
Oh.
I'd pull out a cigar too if Lou was back here, but
yeah, Yeah, that works. That works. Great conversation with Lue Elizondo. We had a bunch of people. Folks, if you stop by, I didn't ask during the show. If you stopped, you haven't subscribed to Disclosure tonight, yeah, Lue will be back again. We've got a great program here. Please give us a subscribe. We're trying to get to 18,700 people. We're like 20-something away, 30-something people. We'd really appreciate your love and support at Disclosure tonight. If you haven't given us a thumbs up, please do. I think that was a pretty good interview with Lue we had going on here.
We had almost 700 people in the audience, yeah?
Yeah.
It was good. We should be able to make up those subscriptions.
Oh, I
pretty
hope so.
quickly.
I should have put up the crawl during the show, but I was more just focusing on the conversation and bringing up selectively some of the comments. Man, there's some nasty people out there, but our mods have done their job very well.
They did.
Yeah, and it's not like Lue is a virgin to that negativity. He's not.
Yeah. You know, there was one super chat we got. It said, your thoughts on red panda koala and Chupacabra. Vern, dude, you've got your freaking picture like your fucking Chupacabra. What do you think? Thug life. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't ask your question because it's just like, no, I don't want to drag this conversation into the gutter.
No, not at all.
And all the
gotten ugly
lies and the
fast.
hate and the stuff that goes on out there that none of us
All the
like.
bullshit.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
We don't need to get bogged down with that. It's
Yeah.
better off just
Ooh, we're
ignored.
16 we are 3 subscribers away currently from hitting our next goal of 18,700 subs. It's going to go
nice.
pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
200. We got 264 new members on this cruise ship
Nice.
Wow.
in the last month.
That's great.
Yeah. We must be doing something right. We're trying. And that's the whole thing. And the
we always
daily
do.
thing, oh my God, it's killing me. And it's almost like I don't want to go to the show as much as I don't want to go into work some days. But it always comes together. We've got a great stuff to talk about. And yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff that went on today that we kind of got to where Eric Burleson came out and said his stuff. But you notice how Lue kind of talked around the stuff with regards to national security and what they're asking for is never going to happen, which is what we've been saying for a period of time.
Well, because, it's common sense, really. I mean, if the president wanted to violate national security, he would have done so already. Obviously, he doesn't. And that speaks for itself. It's self-evident. And I think that Lue was, feeling the same way about it that we've spoken publicly about it.
It's just common sense. And it's, I guess if you want to ask for the sky, that's something that's great. But sometimes we just have to be honest with I don't want to go ahead and feed bullshit to the audience to make them happy. That's the last thing we do here. We try to cut it close to the edge as much as we can because we've heard so much bullshit and promises and things in the past where they say, this is where we're going to go. Here's the laws. Here's all the different stuff they're going to do. And it doesn't amount to shit. They gave us RO versus what it said it was supposed to be. Right?
Right. That's right.
Hey, here we go, Mike. We made it. We made it. I guess there we go. 18,700 subs. We finally made it to the cheers for national security, Daryl.
Cheers.
Clinky.
Go drinky. Come on.
There we go. There you go. Clink. There we go.
And thanks to the audience for helping us
We got
achieve that
5
goal.
guests who want to come in here. Son of a bitch. Someone else isn't. Okay. Admit all. There you go. We got someone new. Who's that? Oh, is that guy? Is that Patrick?
That guy has been here before.
Okay, admit all. There you go. We got someone new who's
Hey, we got you. I got to mute you. There you go. Gotta have fun with it. All right. Mike, why don't you and Daryl talk for a second here? I need to go and release some national security and get a refill.
Absolutely.
I unfortunately attributed Jan to this, but if somebody else jacked somebody. He said, we learned about Jeeps. Yay. Well, you could be that dumb, or you could say, or you could notice that question ended with, are you worried about an alien apocalypse, which Lue said no to. So take it as you will, my friend.
Yeah. And there's always going to be the haters out there, Daryl. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's just interesting. Lue's not worried about some sort of alien, apocalypse down the road.
Exactly.
What's coming in 2028 or 2027 or whatever.
or whenever.
But,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes people can be crafty with their questions, and other people can criticize them for being dumb. So there you go.
Oh yeah, like the schmucks out there was saying for the longest time that Lue secretly knows what's coming and it's going to end humanity once and for all. And he's been digging a bunker by his house out in Wyoming. Nothing could be furthest from the truth. He didn't dig anything by his house. He moved. He's now on the East Coast outside of D.C., and there's no bunker or anything like that. But this is the crap they come up with, these conspiracy theories about Lue all the time. And it's all bullshit. So it's nice that we were able to have a real conversation with him, hear what his true thoughts are, even about the house that he just bought and he's moved into. And, day-to-day things that shows you that he's a real human being and a family man and somebody, to take seriously on this topic.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it.
Stand-up guy.
Now, that being said, I could say one other thing. I got the impression that when we brought up a lot of, let's say, the fringe parts of this conversation that have been coming out on mainstream media lately, all over social media, and we brought a few of those questions up directly to Lue, and like Thomas said, he kind of sidestepped it. That's because I believe that those people who will remain nameless now that we brought up, and those questions regarding what they've seen, allegedly, he didn't want to get into that one way or the other because I don't believe that they know what they were talking about. So,
Right.
And that's Lue being diplomatic about it. Very diplomatic.
Yeah.
And you have to be. A lot of people think you just, like he was saying, talking about people staying in their lanes, driving. I mean, people want everybody to jump the lanes and wreck into the other cars on the way to the disclosure exit. But, some people don't do that. They take their oaths very seriously.
Yeah, well, Lue, I believe, was raised that if you have nothing good to say, it's better to not say anything at all.
Otto.
So he subscribes to that philosophy, and he's not wrong.
There's a Doc 5758's been back here.
Yeah.
In and out.
Yeah.
What's up, Doc?
I was trying to get in and I was having some difficulty, but I just want to make a quick comment about the question, Daryl, that you asked about Stephen Greer being included. I really liked the answer he gave on that. He took the high road on that.
Yeah, especially when he was talking about different people, and I said, "Boom, Stephen Greer."
I didn't expect that from him.
No,
Well,
neither did I.
And UAP Gerb was in the exact same, yes, he can go, but I'm expecting an apology.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lue took the high road, but it doesn't mean that we all do. You cross the line, and sometimes you get pushed back for it. So
Yeah, there's two roads. The high road.
yeah, there
and
is.
the low road.
Correct. So we know Lue takes the high road.
Yep.
Most of the time, yeah. And a great
Yeah.
job at it, for that matter.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. All right, guess
Mike, what job do you think Lue got in Washington? What do you think he's going to do?
Oh, we can't
His new
discuss that
job.
we didn't get to
publicly.
that, but he did say he was recommending people for being on Pursue. So he
Right.
is having some
Yes.
kind of say in this, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. And that's what I really want him. I hope he heads Pursue and becomes part of the people that decide what gets released.
It sounds like he has some kind of involvement with it, although he's not just being forthright with it yet at this point.
Right. We're just going to have to be patient and wait and see what comes moving forward. We'll see how it shakes out. That's
Well,
it. You have to be patient.
Yeah.
I can add to that a little bit because a few hours ago, I did task the Pursue project with my remote viewer.
Ooh.
And the reason I asked that question is because the answer he gave is exactly what we got, that he wasn't involved in actually picking the people. And that was kind of frustrating for him. I'll just say real quick what we got. It could be wrong. He's playing nice, trying to advance the goal, but not thrilled with all the people he has to work with. pursues objective.
I would have loved to have you have read this to him during the show.
Yeah.
I like him too much. I don't want to give him a stroke, but his objective is through the lens of him is, but it's not everyone's objective. So he's wanting to pull the truth out. He's hoping to get, it sounds like they're getting big names, even possible authors, but not everyone is going to be part of the program. There's quite a few. It feels rushed. Trump got top people to do this. It sounds like the task was through the executive wing, which sounds bad to me.
It's all set up in the executive branch, so it's a good thing.
It is. Okay.
Psyop anime.
The pool feels large.
Hold on, we got a troll here. We got to get rid of here really quick.
Oh, go.
I want to
remove. Fly. Don't need you.
That's okay. I just turned him into moderated contributor, which means they can say, do anything, whatever it is. They can come and rejoin, and they'll automatically rejoin, and they can't bother us anymore. Fucking psyop anime, go fucking sit and spin, shall you? Thank you.
I believe that's the guy. I believe that's the guy who said, "Yay, we learned about Jeeps."
I'll just finish real quick. The pool of these people feels large. Not everyone is saying yes. It's about 50 to 75 people, but it's going to end up around 35. Feels rushed, can be good or bad. There's an urgency to it. We're getting the date January, which is 4 months from now, is an important time for this. I don't know if a report has to be done by then or what, or it's hoping to get further. Lewis hoping to get further clearance. He has his own objective. It's a full-time job fighting for disclosure. He wants more information. He's going to be in this eyes wide open, dig through the files. And if anything happens to him, I'd love it if he had some kind of a explosive thing that leaks everything. And then I got into his book and all that stuff and I don't think this new book that's coming out Thursday is going to have any redactions.
Oh, I forgot it's coming out Thursday. We didn't even ask him about that. Son of a...
Yeah. I think he wanted to put some information in the book about former cases, and he wanted to use it in terms of analogies, but they jumped on that. Wouldn't want him talking about old cases, probably crashes. But so instead of just putting blank out on the pages, he just removed it to not even bring it up. So there.
Interesting.
That would make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great conversations. Thank you. I appreciate that, Laura.
Yep.
So I guess that takes us on to next, Mike. Where is Disclosure going next? There were so many things that came out today from Representative Eric Burleson and everybody else. I think we're going to cover that tomorrow, give us something to talk about.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And Laura, I just wanted to mention that the SUE has 90 days to get operational and get stood up completely, and they're still in the process of that. So this could take some time.
Yeah. It was interesting how Lou brought up about Avi Loeb's quote about David Grusch and wanting to bring this stuff out, and he was talking about the stuff, but he left out the part about wanting to violate their national security oath, which is something Lou would never do.
No, never. Absolutely not.
Don't let Mama Linda in. I don't trust
No, I'm not. I don't
think that is not Linda.
No, it's a troll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Well, I thought it was a good interview.
Thank you.
I always like listening to Laura. That's amazing stuff, Laura. Keep it coming. But we know that the shoot down story is pretty much BS, right? I mean, we know that, the one that Ross put out.
But the thing is, Ross put it out. And then there were some different statements that came out. But then as of today, we had Burleson just talking about that they took what they were doing before and they went and they reproduced it and they got all the stuff to show up. But he didn't mention anything about any attempts to go ahead and bring these things down. And Lou was on another podcast earlier today, I believe, from, who was it from again, Mike?
Let me see.
Harloff or whatever his name is.
Christian Hollow.
Yeah, he was on an interview, but really bad video quality, but worse than what we had. But Lue was going ahead and saying that, yeah, we shouldn't be shooting these things down. Same thing Avi Loeb is saying.
Right. But I think, correct me if I'm completely wrong about this, but I remember.
Go ahead.
This is
Next.
You're funny, man. Funny.
Go
No,
ahead.
but Lue did not deny the fact that there were, okay, he's, when you mentioned that Burleson quoted that, if I'm correct, if I'm wrong, okay, let me rephrase that.
He had a big smile. When I brought up the quote from Burleson and I read it, he had a grin like Cheshire Cat style ear to ear, or Joker style ear to ear. Because he can't talk about some of that stuff.
Yeah, but he said I'm glad that Burleson came out with that and he didn't talk about it. But
right, because he said because there's things like this that I can't talk about.
Right. So,
but he did bring up Project Interloper that was similar to what was being discussed, and he went into detail about that part of the government and how they were retracting these things, if you remember, Ryan.
Yes. Right. So that leads me to think that maybe there's something to the luring story, but not the shoot down story, if that makes any sense. Maybe they are trying to lure them, but not shoot them down. That's all. But we don't know for sure. But the way I caught what Lue was saying, he didn't deny that. So, but yeah, you guys did a good job with the interview.
Thanks.
So the luring story to me is interesting. So
most important thing is when you're talking about stuff, write notes so you know to follow up with it. Otherwise, you forget it. I've always.
El Popo is next, so I'll let El Popo go. But
El Popo, you've been putting up. Tio has been putting up a ton of fucking things over on X, Mr. MJ12. I need to hook you up with freaking Tom Whitmore.
That'd be awesome.
Have you ever talked with Tom yet?
No.
I need to hook you up with Tom.
I've talked to him in replies, so like just so you know, like superficial, just like, oh hey, you know, like I've liked your work, that type of thing. But we haven't
you
really
need to get on a call
that.
with Tom Whitmore.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
He
Great interview,
he went
guys.
to the Library of Congress and looking for shit. He's been researching this for 30 fucking years, full time.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're coming up with this stuff, yeah, definitely collaborate with the guy. He it would be an honor for both of you guys to work together on this stuff.
He's your go-to guy on MJ12. Trust me, Theo. He's the man to talk to about this. He knows what's bullshit and what isn't.
Yeah, no, I believe you guys. I wish I could have asked Lue questions, but I know like he has like not much free time and he's moving, so it was awesome that he took time out of his day.
We got him for an hour and 20 minutes, literally, because he came in like 10 minutes before the show. We had to deal with camera shit for about 5 minutes to get it, so it just showed Lue when he brought up on camera and stuff and everything. But you know, it's late on the East Coast.
Yeah. No, really good interview, guys. And because I know there's a lot of trolls out there watching, what I wanted to say is a lot of people are misunderstanding the term whistleblower and Edward Snowden and treason/espionage. And I see a lot of people, and no one here at all, but I'll make this point really short.
I saw that today on X2 about Snowden and that kind of shit.
Yeah, people are basically putting Edward Snowden up on a pedestal and saying, if you are not like Edward Snowden, you're not a whistleblower. And I have to make a statement that if you're out there saying you're not a whistleblower unless you've done what Edward Snowden did, you're asking somebody to now
sacrifice their life, leave the United States permanently, end up in a foreign shithole, and not know what your fate is going to be, and try to bring a young family, his new wife with him. Yeah, that's something the average person, especially somebody, let's say, who's been married for 30 years, has grandchildren, they wouldn't want to do that easily just for this subject.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
They could go to Congress, and they could file a complaint with the ICIG. These are the things that they could and have done already. But as far as flushing their entire life down the toilet, no. No, I mean yes,
you know, everyone forgets Lue fucking walked away from his job, walked away from his retirement and everything, went to go ahead and living in a fucking travel trailer with his wife and kids in a fucking, you know, initially in Tom DeLonge's driveway and then in a rat fucking infested aircraft hangar where the rats were getting into where they were living. My gosh. You know, he went through that stuff. So, yeah, there was retribution. There was stuff that he went through, and he just pushed through it. I mean, he's talked about it, but he hasn't been out there whining it to the extent that we've got with the current part of whistleblowers. And, yes, we know it's hard, but the truth of the matter is people have taken these steps before you. So rather than trying to throw them under the bus, perhaps you should put your hands out and shake and be a part of it and not just try to create your own thing with a reality that's never gonna happen. The requests that are coming out by Grusch, by Borland, by Brown, by everybody, all behind James Fox, saying we want the president to drop our NDAs and allow us to talk to the people of the United States freely about what we know. It's never. I don't gamble. My ex-wife gambled away over $1 million, but if I could gamble on anything, the president of the United fucking States will never, ever allow these people to go ahead and talk freely about the information they know because it's so highly classified. And I wish that would happen, but based on the world theater of what we're going through, who our enemies are, what's going on and everything, what they want to get released, it's fucking ludicrous. They have no common sense. And, it sounds great to appeal to the people to say, yeah, go ahead, ask for that stuff. We deserve it. Do they really want to take the world to that stage for their own personal wants and needs, El Pupo?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And no, you pretty much said exactly what I wanted to say, Thomas. People have already walked that route, and the last point I want to make is Lue has stated that he's gone up to that line, but other people like Eric Davis just mentioned bodies. And he mentioned exactly where they used to be in Washington, D.C. And then we have David Grusch talking about I forget the exact word he said, but it was like not an interview, but it was like an interrogation. He used like the interrogation term. And so when other people are able to push the football, are able to push this ball forward, Lue sat there and he didn't say anything, but he smiled. His smile went ear to ear. And so that just shows, a more validation, and that we're getting more information, but we just have to all be patient because nobody wants to be another Snowden, and because that's not going to get us anywhere. No. It's really not.
And the biggest thing about it is you met Lue in person in Seattle. We have calls with Lue. We know who he is. Who Lue is on stage, who he is in these podcasts is exactly who he is. And that's what I learned a long time ago. Just be yourself no matter where you're at. You don't have to be this fake person or personality or whatever it is. And it just makes everything much, much easier. And that's exactly who he is.
Yeah, exactly. In his real life, at home, not on camera, not on stage, Lue is exactly who he is. That doesn't change. Thomas and I know that for a long time now. Nothing new. So Lue is who Lue is, and that isn't going to change. And he's made sacrifices, like Thomas has already pointed out. Yeah. Lue also made a point on the show that he knows exactly what's going to be going on. And if the president was to, let's say, wheel a live alien out on a stretcher and a craft that it came out of, there would be plenty of people out there in the audience that would still say it's fake, it's not real, it's AI, and they wouldn't believe it. Lue's not wrong. He's right. There are plenty of people out there that wouldn't matter what you gave them, they would still be negative about it.
And just for the audience who's out there and doesn't know, I'm not in this because this is a popular thing to be a part of. I'm here because of the shit that I went through, starting at the age of 5, going through 8, and it's something that's haunted me with medical issues and other stuff that has gone on my entire fucking life. I'm in this because we're all in this together. The biggest thing I'm here for, honestly, the biggest message I have to say is we cannot let these schmucks turn this into some kind of new religion. That is the most important thing that I'm here for, besides the other stuff that's going on. We're all in this together, all of us. We all have an interest in this. We all want the fucking truth, but we want to be able to get to the truth within the constraints that are there. And if we set these high bars that are there, they can say, oh my God, it's not going to be this unless we get it, like unless we get the information about the crash retrieval and reverse engineering program. Yes, we would love to hear it, but it puts us in a bad state for us and our adversaries. Now, one thing that was interesting that Trump came out with today, Mike, is didn't he say that North Korea has 59 nuclear missiles, very powerful ones?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kabam,
so if
kaboom,
they wanted,
and that's what he doesn't want to happen in Iran. And it's going to be a mess if it gets there. So it's just, we have all these different hot spots, different problems going all over the world, but it's all oh God. I don't know where to start.
But we talked to Lue about this before the show. And if you remember, there's a lot that's going on with that. And the clock is ticking. It definitely is a clock on everything going on in Iran right now. So we'll see how that plays out moving forward. Probably in a very short period of time.
Hey, Daryl, you there?
He's probably out walking Ferrari.
Oh, he probably
No,
is.
I'm here.
Clinky, clinky.
Oh, we got
National security.
Man, we said it enough times, and I've got a refill. I actually got an extra bottle. Thanks for all the super chats, friends, to go ahead and help me get to the next. Clinky, clinky, other side. There you go. Take your drinky,
Take your
friends.
drinky.
So it's clinky, clinky, take your drinky. That's the saying that Daryl brought us.
There we go. So, Laura, your hand is up. Go ahead, my dear.
I thought I'd share one other thing we looked at because I was curious. People were giving, I really enjoyed, I was in the background listening, Mike Dizzle you had on the other night with
we did.
Era's Las Vegas.
Yes.
And people were giving him shit. Oh, he's full of shit. I'm like, no, I was reading complete and total honesty. I was glad to have him on the show. I'd like to see him back again. And so I thought, let's just look at the objects that were around the plane. And here's what we got. We did get through. And sometimes when we're probing UFOs, sometimes we get information, sometimes we don't. We got partial. So here was the target picture. The target. And basically, wasn't human. This is the best rendering. Big head, skinny, small, tiny face. The craft had this wrapper. It looked like two dishes put together, almost like what you would see like vintage UFO. But there were windows that went halfway around the top of it. And dead silence. Because when we do this, it's often like, who's taking responsibility for this? How many craft? Complete silence, but the being that was in this particular...
But they didn't stop you and they didn't tell you, don't ask, which
no,
is the
that's
important
true.
part.
That's true. We didn't get pushed out of it like damn manted. What we got was, this was interesting. Let's see, who is it? There was more than just the three that he saw. Who's responsible for this? It's a being in a craft. It was small being. Their long, spindly hand. We saw, a long, spindly hand over a colored, glowing ball and moving just very slight little motions with those fingers. But those little tiny motions can make it go zip, zip.
So it's not through the mind, it's through the hand.
It's through an actual hand over this glowing ass ball. And the creature it was like a multi-chromatic, kind of like a frog can have, depending on how the light looks at it, it's grayish, greenish color. It had 3 fingers and that spindly arm, like the end of a baseball, like the grippy part of the baseball bat. It's real tiny. 3 fingers, shorter being 3.5 to 4 feet tall. It had big rounded head, small face, and the feet, looking down at the feet, They were like the hands that had the 3 toes attached to a foot, but it was wider than the hands. No words were spoken. It was absolute silence. But we were glad to get that information. Like, it allowed us to see it, but no explanation of what it was doing or anything like that. So that was cool. He did capture something. And I'd love to have him back. I think he's really cool.
He said he'd come back again soon.
Cool.
Yeah. So, Mike, we got a push for September 17th.
Okay, why the 17th? Anything to that date?
No, not really. Couldn't be my daughter's birthday now, could it? The 15th, actually.
Yeah, well, we could...
Let's push for the 15th, a month out. Why not?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can do that. Yep. He
said he'd like to come back again. Daryl, you need to come up with more car questions, my friend. And I thought you were going to ask the question. We talked about this yesterday. I had to bring it up. You were going to ask the question someone brought it up yesterday about if anyone took him up on
you asked him that question
the
because
challenge, and I asked him about it. If someone took him up on the challenge about going ahead and taking a polygraph, was that you or Mike? I thought it was Daryl.
It was Andy from Bristol, UK, who wanted us to ask Lou that question.
Well, I did, but in the chat earlier, he put out there that I brought up. He didn't ask that question.
Well, he wanted us to ask it, and you did. So at least Lou got and he gave us the answer. Well, we knew the answer was going to be no anyway. No one's going to take him up on that.
Hold on. I need to go. Mark, the message was deleted, and you are in timeout for 5 minutes. No. You're gone. Thank you.
That's it.
Appreciate
Simple.
your contributions to the channel. It's not welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Gotta have fun.
Problem solved.
Gotta have fun with it, my friends. You know, anybody could have nice words. But if they want to have shit and have it come up on here, there's always a cost for everything. Just like when you go ahead and do meditation and you try to bring something down on someone, there's a cost for everything that you do. And there's a cost, apparently in this case, for every word that you write. Sorry.
Right. Yep.
Is it worth the cost? There might be some things to bring down on something. Okay. All right.
It's never worth the cost.
No, it isn't. Lou is a strong believer.
We heard about karma yesterday from Bigelow, big time. He kept on saying, "Oh my God, it's you have to have the right state of mind, the right stuff, all the different things. You have to be a good person, and all these things for communicating with it." It's karma. It's exactly what Bob was bringing out yesterday. That was wonderful.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
All right. Next. All right. We got a quote here. No, we got a quote. We got a quote here. Did I say that? Yes, I did. Let's get to it. All right. From Joe Murgia. We baited UFOs. Allegedly, they showed up. Stop laughing, Daryl. I can't stop it.
At least it's not herpes.
Yeah. Or a 55-pound box.
I wanted to bring that up, but I figured.
Oh my God! And people, railed us on us because, oh my God, look at the stuff Dave Fessler said to him. It's like, you know what, Daryl? Though I said it because every fucking other person out there would have brought it up, just like the stuff with the dots on Ross's face that you had the little hand coming out of the nose, like touching. Oh yeah! Oh my God!
And Avi Loeb and the black hose.
Yeah. Black hose.
Where is Sweaty tonight? We miss him.
He was in earlier.
We baited UFOs and allegedly they showed up. So why isn't the media going to the heads of these agencies and asking about this claim? If true, and it's proven that whatever showed up was unknown, then the world deserves to know. Why keep this from us? Well, as usual, the psychos in these agencies are probably trying to figure out how to turn this into a weapon.
It's Thomas.
Hey, Ferrari, want to go for a walk?
Ferrari, don't pay any attention to him.
Walk.
He's
Go pee-pee
Dr. Evil.
outside?
I thought he was Uncle Thomas, but no, he's Dr. Evil.
Psst, psst, psst. Where's the cat? Where's the cat? Where's the cat? Where's the cat, Moose? Where's the cat?
Your dog's going crazy.
Psst, 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 psst. I got the husky coming out too. Psst, psst, psst. Where's the cat? Mocha, where's the cat? Get up here, Mocha. Come here. Nope.
Yeah, just don't say the SQ word.
Squirrel. Where's the squirrel?
Yeah. It doesn't work when you say it, but when I say it, he goes
Where's
flying.
the squirrel? He looked.
Right.
God damn it. All right. So why keep it from all of us? Yes, it's one of those things. Well, would you look at that? We've got UAP Luigi out there saying, follow the trail, Army Medical Museum in D.C. Are you still with us, Tio?
Yeah, hi, Tio.
Talk to us about this one. I know we fucking killed it good.
I haven't dug into it too much. But
dude, you just need to have a pair of chopsticks out there for the next time that happens.
My grandfather used to be able to go ahead and catch flies, and I learned it from him. You just have to think about where it's going to be and grab it out of the air.
The Winnebago man.
Take it. I'll be right back. So tell us,
what
Tio,
I don't
about
get,
this
guys.
one.
Go ahead, Tio.
Well,
Tell us
and
about
you guys let me know too. So Eric Davis here went on News Nation, and like Eric Davis, yeah, he famously has been like tight-lipped. Like he did not say much, and recently he's just like
laying it all out there. Or
laying it all out there.
The gray types. Yeah, like the people who've been abducted have said about. Yeah, Grusch confirmed that. He said it was the gray types. So yeah, Eric Davis is putting it all out there and asking the president to release him and the other ones from their NDAs.
Yeah,
so that's
it's
what
almost,
you put up?
Yeah, and it's almost like he's enticing, like, hey, listen to what I got. Like, I got a lot more of this. Here's 1% of it. But in this, what he states, Dr. Eric Davis is asked, summarizing, but he's asked, like, where are the bodies at? And he's like, oh, they're here at this Army Medical Museum in Washington, D.C., but it got split up and they're not there anymore. So he basically states where they used to be, but he can't state where they are now. I don't know how he's able to say all that, but he was able to say it on the news.
Come on.
Because he didn't say anything that was directly classified? Probably.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But in there, he says that at one point they were in some Army medical facility, and then it got broken up. I think he said into 3 different branches.
Right, and he kind of named where they were at and stuff, and you actually went and tracked it down.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go back through in this clip and get the transcript, and I'm gonna make sure I know exactly where it's at. But I'm pretty sure I know where it's at.
Good, bring it out. Track it down. Share it with the public. We all deserve to know.
You don't know how close I was saying, though, when we were talking about World War II Jeeps. when I got to the second WW2, I really wanted to say WW11, but I didn't want to piss off a bunch of people.
No.
Well, people ask. They always ask, where are the bodies at? And I'm like, guys, I gave not only the address, I gave you the exact building, and I put when on Google Earth, I put a big old marker on it. And then Jeffrey Cruikshank, he used to work in the intelligence. He had a top secret clearance in Australia, but he came out with a Substack article. He's like, bam, here's where the bodies are at, and where do you know? It's the exact building that I stated.
It's exactly, and that's the thing about this community is we hear this stuff. Different people go off. We find the information, bring it back, and it adds to the collective. As long as people are willing to go ahead and listen to it.
Which is why Lou said that we need to work together.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Speaking of Daryl, sweaty nerd just popped in.
Sweaty nerd, you missed out on lots of national security.
It's true.
Speaking of, Mike says, speaking of.
Yeah, but we've got a clip here of Avi Loeb, video guest Thomas with there. Let's get to it. Avi Loeb talking about David Grusch, and he looks so happy. Let's listen to Dr. Avi Loeb talk about whistleblower David Grusch.
The UAP Science Advisory Council fully supports requests made by David Grusch, Eric Davis,
no audio
for the.
Sorry, oh my God! Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. The audience can hear it, but just not the panel. So let me get to this one here. I got the post here. Hold on. Let me get to Brave. I need to be brave on this one. Let's get to that. Bring it up. All right. Sorry. I now return you to Professor Avi Loeb talking about his support for David Grusch. So here, I'll bring it down a little bit more. God, how does anyone make their face in that shape when you're talking? I just don't get it. I can't do it.
He's got a very pointed chin. You're right.
It's a chin, but it's the mouth that goes in those. Oh, never mind.
At least it's not a ball chin.
Oh, I can't hear shit. Turn it up again one more time.
The UAP Science Advisory Council fully supports requests made by David Grusch, Eric Davis, and others for the Trump administration to provide legal assurances, including immunity where necessary, for current and former government employees and military personnel, so that they can share information with the Council regarding alleged technology from a non-human origin and help guide the Council's scientific evaluation. In parallel, the Council is currently pursuing efforts to obtain and scientifically evaluate historical UAP records and legacy data. The UAP
So, oh God, I forgot to ask Lou about what about the.
But Lou addressed this.
No, he didn't. No, not the part I was just about to say before he cut me off. No, I was going to ask Lou about what about all the metadata that's missing? The scientists cannot understand what is being presented because the metadata is missing, and we cannot understand how far the craft was, how fast it was moving, the size of the craft, all the information the scientists need in order to make a proper evaluation of the data provided by the government. That's what we're missing. Sorry. The more I practice Avi Loeb, the better it gets. I just have to do it.
Before you go on, he needs to put a little bit more effort into his collar.
Together.
Effort. His effort. Anyway, his collar needs a little effort. I don't know what's going on there, but how does the collar get like up on one side? Has he got like a tumor over here he's hiding? What is going on with that?
I don't know. It's interesting.
It's over the collar. It's over the top of the jacket. It's just driving me crazy.
He's got the plants behind him that are in the waterfall in my backyard. But if there was a flower, you could tell what plant it actually is. Yeah.
Lily pad.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is Lou addressed this point about Avi and the council. And if they want access to classified information, they're going to have to get national security clearance.
Security clearance. So he's like, yeah, we want to get we want to get access to this information. And Lou was like, yeah, you need to get national security clearance. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. We have said national security 3 fucking times. Daryl.
Yeah.
Clinky.
Drinky.
Clinky, fix your collar.
My collar's fine.
No. Avi Loeb's collar is over his jacket. That weirdo.
Cheers, my friend. Cheers. You go.
Hey, maybe he was hanging out in an old 70s type disco. You never know.
Oh, yeah. He could have been practicing
his jacket is just, he's excited about this stuff.
His collar's over the jacket.
God, you know who he reminds me of right now? He reminds me of the guy Wilson from fucking Tool Time with Tim Taylor.
Oh, not from the island with Tom Hanks?
No.
Wilson, the neighbor.
Wilson, the neighbor, the person never saw this part of their face below.
Yeah. Not Wilson, the volleyball. Gotcha.
No, not at all.
But the problem with Avi's counsel is that not all of them are American citizens, meaning they would never get national security clearance.
That's right, folks. We've been bringing it up for how long, Mike? Since we first heard about the council. Why the fuck do we have so many international people who are a part of Avi's council? Now, but the problem is that they have a lot of scientists from Israel, and don't forget, we had information that came out yesterday from Bigelow, who said his OSAP program that he had was overridden with like 5 to 7 different spies who were from Israel. And actually, there were 5 spies from Israel that were a part of the OSAP program, and they had tapped 7 of their phone lines, including Bigelow's personal line. Why were the Israelis so far up the ass of Bigelow's program?
It's a good question.
Yeah. It's a real, not being anti-Semitic. No, we love the Semitics. No, it's fine. But we just got to wonder, why were there 5? Why did they have 7 of their phone lines tapped by the Israelis?
This would be back in the days of Jaime
Musan.
The guy from Israel, when he was in charge of the space, their entire space program, and who came out later and said that Trump knows all about the aliens. We have treaties with 6 different people, 6 different alien races.
Galactic Federation.
Yeah.
Federation of Peace, my ass. Yeah.
So if that guy was directing the tapping or was under his auspices, that would be interesting.
It usually is.
It probably was, actually, now I think about it.
Yeah. He also recently came out a little while ago with Uri Geller and really killed his credibility with that. We covered it here on the show when that came out publicly. So, yeah, your Chaim is shed. I don't think any information coming from him could be trusted.
No.
Seems so weird. He's credited by the government as like the greatest superstar of all space things in Israel.
Right.
He has a medal for it.
Yeah. Doesn't mean it could be trusted.
No, I guess not. We've had presidents, vice presidents that can't be trusted. Sure.
Yeah. I was surprised.
Including Darth Vader. David Grusch.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's Avi? Is that Avi?
I think so. It could be in a different life, minus the raccoon hat.
Wait a minute. Was that AI generated or is that actually him?
No, it's not him, El Poopo. It was just in my feed, and it was like, oh my God, I need to bring this up because this is.
I think that's Hulk Hogan's. No, it's Hulk Hogan's estranged, really weird cousin or something.
Huh.
But actually it says, why does RPK always wear the fur hat? And that's RPK for himself putting this post up there. I had to bring it up.
Oh, there we go. AI. Beautiful.
Man, all the people that hated the Jeep questions are certainly gone from the back chat now, from the chat now.
Yes, I know. What else we've got going on?
Some people cannot take a joke or read between the lines.
That's wild and wacky stuff. Daryl, they did not know that. All right, we got enough of that and everything. Oh, God. Fucking teeth lady.
Physicists may have found the origin of...
Why does she talk through her teeth? I can't see pain on that.
God.
So we did learn that Lue's truck's name is Betty, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Betty?
Yeah.
Betty.
Betsy.
Oh,
Betsy.
my God. Betsy.
Betsy. Okay.
Betsy.
Let's go,
It's
Betsy.
not. Oh, God.
Let's go, Bessie.
No, I shall no longer be known as Master Payne. From now on, I shall be known as Betty.
What is that? What is that from for those of us like me that don't know who that's from?
You don't know that one?
No.
You never saw the chosen one. Wee 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 pew wee. Never saw that?
What is that?
Kung Pao.
Kung Pao?
You never saw the movie Kung Pao?
Oh, that's a great movie.
Fist of Fury. Oh my God, it's
I don't think I've seen it.
Chosen one, save me.
Wow. You really like that movie.
Well, no, it's a funny movie. You can't get past it.
I'm going to look at I may have seen it. Let's see. Kung Pao.
What was
Kung Pao Chicken?
No, it was Kung Pao the Fist or something like that. The Fist of Fury. Anybody in the back? Anybody in the chat?
Anybody? AI? Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Yes.
That's clip.
And you've never
by
seen
Steve
that one.
Oderkirk. Is he in that movie?
Yes.
Steve Oderkirk
I've watched it many times. Too many.
Was Bob Odenkirk really in that? Daryl?
It said something that his clips. Directed by Steve Oderkirk.
Uh-oh. We got a clip here coming from Tim Burchett saying he has been invited to visit Skinwalker Ranch.
I think you all have opened up some questions that
Oh, fuck. They put that stupid music in play. Son of a bitch.
I have, and I'll be following up with the Pentagon about this.
To have Congress.
Oh, my God. They have taken Skinwalker Ranch and just destroyed it.
Prostituted it.
It's prostituted worse than the fucking mystery of Oak Island.
Oh,
When
God.
Burchett say that he'll look into what we're finding at the ranch with officials at the Pentagon is huge. We need more allies within our government to help us. So this could be a very important development for our investigation.
Did he bring on more of an accent to go ahead and go along with Tim Burchett?
It's more fucking tabloid journalism.
Pentagon's already investigating it.
Oh, my God.
No, they're not.
We
boom.
Really appreciate your attention to these matters, Congressman. We'd like to invite you at your convenience to come out to Skinwalker Ranch to see firsthand.
Oh, my God. This is horrible.
Wait, did they have Stephen Greenstreet on that panel? I thought I just saw Stephen Greenstreet back there.
Well, no, we've got, is Jay Stratton.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch this episode. I haven't watched the show in a long time, but I thought I saw Stephen Greenstreet there for a second. Yeah, I don't think it was.
No, he's not there.
Okay, never mind. I'm just seeing things.
We'd see green slime everywhere. Oh, my God.
Firsthand.
All right.
Please don't play any more of this. I can't listen to it.
They're with you.
Thank you, Congressman. We'll let you go. Thank you.
Hey, look, the first tweet. UAP Luigi. No, El Pupo, you put up a quote up there already. You've been working hard. You got to be the first person putting a tweet up there. Hey, Mike, look, it looks just like you and me.
Yeah, you and me both. Look at that.
Yeah, would you look?
Thank you, Tio. Good job.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. I threw a couple clips out there. I didn't put a whole lot, but I put two up there. 2 or 3.
All right, so this is
Thomas,
the clip from fucking Burleson clip.
I was muted when I was announcing this. Gleefully that I have posted the 1 minute and 50-second clip trailer for Kung Pao the movie.
Nice.
In the back chat.
Nice.
In case anybody doesn't know what the hell it is, because I didn't know.
We'll
You've
play
never
it
seen
after
it?
the show.
I don't think so.
Oh, we're gonna have to watch this in the back chat one night.
All right.
We have to experience this as a community.
All right. Well,
Chosen one, save me.
should we take a poll? Who knows what the fuck Thomas is talking
Sure.
about?
But after we watch, I am concerned though about Eric Burleson. It seems like he's getting like Marty Feldman-ized, like, oh God, what is that? Gravis disease. I hope he doesn't have it as a result
It's Ozempic.
I know. There are some nasty side effects coming out of that shit.
Yeah. Thank God we didn't get on it, Thomas.
Yeah, I know.
My name is Eric Burleson. I'm a Republican congressman from...
Yes. One.
Order another pizza fry, quick.
Order another pizza. Hold on. I need to make this larger.
A large pizza fry.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay, just look into the eyes and don't look away.
Oh, God.
classification. My name is Eric Burleson. I'm a Republican congressman from Missouri and a member
Reading
of
from
the
a
Task
script.
Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets. We continue to receive credible claims of recovered craft of non-human origin and reverse engineering programs that may have operated for decades outside of any government oversight. Those claims point to specific facilities, contractors, records, and people. We continue to depend on whistleblowers to provide this critical information, but these whistleblowers are being terrorized. Mr. President, I'm asking for you to directly restore.
There we go. Right there. I've been looking for the pose.
What many of these brave whistleblowers have already lost: their pensions, their clearances, and other benefits. Provide immunity for anyone and everyone who has already come forward and for those who will come forward. And now we ask that you open the doors and let them speak, not only to Congress, but to the public. This is the moment. Use the authority that you have been given, because the American people are behind
Fucking be even bigger.
you on this.
Hold on, I'm just taking some screenshots here, folks. You'll never miss this again.
And the time is now.
Yeah.
You'll never miss this again.
You'll never deal with it again.
Oh.
Never deal with it again. Oh, where'd it go? Goddamn.
You just had it.
I know, but I missed it by that much. There we go.
There we go.
But then again, I've got this one too.
Oh God!
Where did this come from? Where did the?
It came from X.
But I mean, in what context?
The context of the post was, why does RPK always wear his fur hat? See, in his post and everything, he always has a fur hat on. So people are saying, why does he always wear a fur hat? And that's what they posted. I know. That's like playing with fire right now, right, Mike?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh boy, oh boy. We'll see where that goes tomorrow. You never know. All right.
So to answer Burleson's question, Lou already addressed this. There is no way the president is going to allow these people to speak publicly.
No.
Right.
It's bullshit.
It is.
It's setting false expectations for the public, right?
Right.
Which is like what ufology has always been about.
Unfortunately.
Sell
That's the
people
dark
on
side.
something that you can never get and get them
Right.
excited about it, saying, yeah, we need to go ahead and get that, blah, 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 bullshit, right? But it's never going to happen. So why even sell it to the people who believe in you that you want to get this if it's something that you're never going to get? I'm not trying to speak from the area of saying the government. I support the government. No, we've been watching this for a long enough period of time. We've got a good idea of what we can or cannot get, right?
Yeah, just
so
like
why
when
sell the people bullshit that they're never ever going to get? Why get them hyped up on something that they're only going to be let down on? Yes. Who said that? Anonymous 547809, Art of the Con.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
It's a con job, isn't it?
Well, when they make announcements, or he has made announcements, like he's going to be sending an official congressional interrogatory letter to the MITA Corporation, they have to divulge their secrets. No, they don't. And they didn't. And he got the door slammed shut right in his face.
You know what reminds me of, Mike?
What?
Remember those guys used to drive around in a white van? And they say, hey, we've got a deal on some speakers for you here.
God, that was popular back in the day, wasn't it?
It was.
Oh my God,
You know,
yeah, it
this
was.
is the same kind of a shit. They're driving around trying to sell you on shit, right? That's never, ever, you're going to get home and you're going to realize it's absolute crap, but you paid for it anyway. That's what we're getting on this. They're trying to sell us a deal that can never happen, but who's behind it? Is it the Disclosure Foundation? Because I see Matt Ford and other podcasts lining up on it. Is it others But why? Why are they trying to sell us this? What are they trying to get? Did they think well, Matt Ford would probably think the president is that stupid because he's like from standforbetter.org, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he's losing subs.
He's the guy who coined the term Orange Man Bad. Just saying.
Right. Yeah. So he's also trying to build his audience, and this might be a way to do it for clicks and attention. Like
I get where the new whistleblowers are coming from. Bless their hearts and their souls for what they've put into it, but it can only go so far. So
he came up with Orange Man Bad, and then what? Gave it to Bill Maher to make it popular.
Who do you think he works for?
Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does the lighting.
The lighting guy.
He does the lighting guy. Yeah, and that one probably
That's
more. He talks to the guy. He says he's the person who coined Orange Man Bad.
I wonder if Bill Maher's ever given him that credit.
Nope.
He took it.
He hasn't.
He took it, though. It's okay.
That sounds like a Bill Maher thing to do.
Me, I just take up part of my theater and destroyed it, so it's all bright and fucking sunny, so I can have green screens going.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Nothing
the
wrong with
ticket.
that.
You know, it's like kind of like, you know, when you get this itch up kind of in your nose and you don't know what to get, and you kind of grab that. What's it called again, Daryl?
Cocaine?
Oh, cocaine. You had to take it and shove it up your nose and just kind of get it up there really good so then you can see even better.
Up until the 1990s, the biggest problem with a Porsche was the ignition because of all the coke on the keys that would go in there, and they could eventually coat the inside of a key in the ignition, and they couldn't turn over. Serious. Look it up.
You know, that's wild and wacky stuff. I did not know that. You know, we're talking about, you know, I had to bring up the stuff.
I've had a few Porsches.
Yeah.
But as we heard, we now know Lue likes the Porsches, 911s.
Yeah, I know. They do, you know, well, this is a whole other conversation. I don't want to go there.
Oh, it's one from when we're off the air. Yeah, I agree.
But hey, there was an Aurora Borealis 2 nights ago. Freaking unbelievable.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely gorgeous things that went on out in the sky. Let's get past this. I'm sure I've got some here. We got another one going on. This is coming from Montana. We had the picket fence going up in the sky. Absolutely gorgeous. You know, it's kind of like, you know, no one realized we're going to get a hit with a solar storm like this, but with the weakening, if you want to call it, the weakening magnetic shield around the planet and what's going on, solar storms are getting stronger and stronger when they should just be, you know, not that much stuff going on. So it's a lot of just absolutely gorgeous things happening. So on that note, anything else here on that? Yeah, another one. Absolutely gorgeous coming up from Canada, I believe. Yeah, this one's in the haunted lakes in Alberta, Canada. God, we just look at that, Mike. It's going to be the 51st state of the United States of America. How about that? Won't that be beautiful?
Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah.
Give us a great chance for a lot of people to go up and visit a new part of the country.
Yeah, the great north.
Yeah, this is what they call a picket fence that goes on. Literally, there's actually a picket fence that appears in the sky right after something called Steve, which is this really bright white light that kind of goes off. So you'll get that first, followed by the picket fence effect. Really cool stuff that happens in the skies.
Yeah, it looks like a picket fence. Yeah, look at that.
Oh, God, yeah. Would you look at that?
Green one.
Another one, there was actually blue aurora and stuff going on in this, and it's just...
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
very cool stuff that's out there.
That's wild.
I can't see it here, usually up in Washington State, but would you look at that? Would you look at that? All the way up in wait, this is Mars up in the sky. Wait a minute, there's not supposed to be anything flying in the sky of Mars, is there?
Nothing.
No, but there is. Actually, I probably, when I was scrolling through this before, went through a couple more. We got another one. Actually, they actually found the place on the moon where the SpaceX rocket crashed. Here you've got it where it initially, without it, it basically created that crater right there. There you go. So it did crash, folks. Is there anything else? Saw a black and white photo here somewhere. No, that's from something else. Go go through this quick. We didn't see that one. Another beautiful one. Aurora Borealis, absolutely gorgeous. Let me get out of that. Oh, fuck. No. And I just destroyed it. There we go. Let's get rid of that one. Something else on Mars. Why is it going to that site? Yes. What the hell is that? Oh, it's not dead pixels. Oh, no, Mike. They're going ahead and calling it out, saying some of these things that only appear in the sky, it's from cosmic radiation.
No.
Yeah.
What the hell is even that?
Exactly.
Yeah. I've gone through some of these images, and people say that there's dead pixels, except you go through the images before and after, and the pixels are there. So
of
how does the pixel
there.
die?
If it was
and
a
then
dead
it comes
pixel,
back to life?
it would be there in every single frame, every single image. That's not dead pixels.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Dead pixels are the modern day version of swamp gas. God, there were so many great auroras that are going on out there. Just absolutely gorgeous. Canada really fucking kicked ass for once. Anything else? No, I think we about hit it. Well, on that note, we've had a great day. Lue Elizondo was here. Couldn't enjoy it even more. We
Great
got
conversation with
some
Lue.
great super chats that came in from the audience. Why is this not? Jesus Christ, why is the chips is playing?
Yes.
But it's not, either way. I want to thank everybody for your wonderful super chats tonight. The music is not playing along, or the sound effects. Let me just try this.
There you go.
That played.
That played.
And if I went to chips,
there we
go. Now it's playing. Near. All right, I want to thank everybody for your wonderful super chats tonight. It's been a hell of a day over at Disclosure tonight. Who am I talking about? Let's go ahead and bring them up, shall we? All right, who we get super chats from? Let's go. Light and Melinda, thank you very much. Let me get into the desktop guest large. Mike, we had, God, it's still fucking loud. Holy shit. All right, let's put this out there. Super chat, Anonymous Rex, Alien in the Clouds podcast. Yeah, reach out to Lou. He said he'll come on your show, my friends. Random YouTube user, Steve Mateo, Brian Pemble, Banana Bowie, Perfectly Imperfect, Jonathan Wilson, thank you very much for your super chat. The Burn Dude, Beth K, Aliens in the Clouds podcast, Laura Campbell, Black to Family podcast, and Beth K, thank you very much. Appreciate it from Winger Dude.
The chat is saying they can't hear you, Thomas.
They can't hear me?
Too low.
Okay, can you hear me now? Oh, sorry about that. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Let me pull it down. Hold it down. All right, so let's do it one more time. Thank you, Light Melinda. I appreciate it. Anonymous Rex, Aliens in the Cloud podcast. Random YouTube user, Steve Mateo, Brian Pemble, Banana Bowie, Perfectly Imperf, Jonathan Wilson, The Vern Dude, Beth K, Aliens in the Cloud podcast again for national security, Daryl. Cheer, clinky, clinky.
Clinky, clinky, take your drinky.
Thank you, sir. Laura Campbell, Galactic Family Podcast, Beth K, Winger Dude, not Swinger Dude, Tamisha Bertrand from Washington State, E-Dub, Alien Clouds Podcast again, Winger Dude again, and my gosh, Yellow Tommy Tanker, Boco Garage Company, NYC Elevator Guy, thank you from the back. Aliens in the Cloud podcast again, and this is Liz W. I want to thank everybody for wonderful support of everything we do here at Disclosure tonight. We're a fan-funded program. We appreciate it tonight, and yeah, we'll try and get Lou back here every month and see where it goes, my friends. He's a great guy. It's someone we've known for a long time. It feels like we're hanging out with good friends, eh, Daryl?
Yeah, it does feel like that, and I will ask more stupid questions.
Great
questions, Daryl. I will ask more humanizing questions in the future. So
yeah,
we appreciate that.
Next time, the questions are about the German Shepherds.
Yeah.
There you go, and their behaviors and everything else. He talked about the fucking bus they have for the 5 German Shepherds. They have a vehicle just to take the whole dogs out for the family. Lou, his wife, and the 5 kids.
Yep.
He has a bus?
He has a Suburban he uses. He took all the seats off.
Okay.
It's just the 2 seats up front, and they have the space in the back because they took all the seats out for the 5 German Shepherds.
I had a friend of mine that bought a short bus to go as a party bus to go to different bars, like bar hopping.
There you go.
We were all in the short bus.
You know, wait a minute. I had a friend. His name was Special Ed, and he said he claimed they created the short bus for him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I got to meet that guy.
Unfortunately, not lately. But on that note, I want to thank everybody for coming out to this episode of Disclosure tonight. What a great opportunity to hang out with friends and enjoy national security one last time.
National security.
Clinky.
It's one last time.
Enjoy your drinking, friends.
And it's one last time before the show's over, and then one last other time.
Yeah, to the second bottle that no one knows about. On that note,
yeah,
it's gonna be one hell of a great week, folks. On that note, I want to thank everybody for coming out again. And as we usually say at the end of it, wait a minute, Mike, thanks for coming out tonight. I forgot about you.
Oh, my pleasure. No, it's okay. It was good with Lou. It was nice hanging out with him, and the audience liked it. So we did good tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we usually
thanks
say,
for putting that together, all you guys.
Oh yeah. And as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everybody. But
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you on the flip side. See you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Can't wait to see all the clips on X and everybody else. Take care now. Bye-bye.